Okay. So, hello everybody. Hola, Jodes. How? My name is William, and yeah, I know William Edward Hackman is my YouTube channel anyway. Yeah, I know. Nos Duke is my video game. Is my video game channel where I play Unreal, where I play the games of Unreal anyway. And my William Mixter channel is just a video where I play video games of Total Annihilation and also Transformers. But I don't know. Yeah, just so you know anyway. You know. And plus you can find those channels on YouTube anyway. But I'm talking about this video is called What Does the Bible Say About the Tower of Babel? You can see I have a PowerPoint here. Yep, a PowerPoint presentation that I'd love to show you. Let's view it now. Okay, so here it is. The Tower of Babel. What does the Bible say about the Tower of Babel? So, yeah. I only don't know what the Tower of Babel will look like. I'm just putting pictures up to see what we would think of the Tower of Babel looks like, because I don't know myself anyway. I know. I read the Bible many times, but I know the Bible doesn't show pictures, and that's okay. It doesn't have to. So that's a picture of Tower of Babel could be, and let's see. That's another picture. Or the Tower of Babel could be as well. You know, I just put the title as close to the tower. The far of the tower. The close of the tower. The far from the far of the tower. The bottom of the tower. Yeah.
You're pulling it apart again.
Here's the confusion, question marks. But that's because God is trying to confound with the languages. That's why it's called confusion. And the Tower of Babel is very similar to the story of this. To this story. This Dr. Seuss story called Yertle the Turtle. Yes. Yes, and I heard that book, called Yertle the Turtle because, well, I used to listen to my brother Daniel's iPad, and one of the books he listened to sometimes is Yertle the Turtle. I don't like Yertle in this story, but I like the character I do like in this story is the turtle named Mac. Yeah, because he stood up what is right. Anyway, yeah, I know when Mac burped, all the turtles were free, and Yertle Yertle got covered in mud. Okay, yep, and I will be talking about. And people have been asking me about stuff. So I know this title is called The Beginning of China. And I know that, and then I know people have been asking me, why is the name China not found in the Bible, but India? I know, first of all, what about India, first of all, okay? The Bible talks about India in the book of Esther, okay? Read the book of Esther and then we're going to talk about India. Now, Now China. Well, first of all, if well, first of all, when people thinks that about where well, the only verse they go to is the book of is the words is the verse the words it says the word synonym in the book of Isaiah. Well, yeah, and there's also the kings of the east in the book of Revelation as well. So that's probably why, you know. So yeah, I'll get into so yes, I'm gonna go and get into what is the beginning of China in this video, and also the beginning of my home country as well, the United States. Even though the United States didn't become a country until later on, you know what? That's all right. I can you know that's okay. I can get to that. And I know this is a picture of so this is a picture of the of China's Great Wall, and here's a picture of Mount Rushmore in the United States. Now I can tell you where Mount Rushmore is in the it's in South Dakota. That's not really where I live anyway. I live in California. So, but it's alright anyway, I don't need to show you it's okay, I can show you stuff that are not my state, I know. So yeah, I know. I live in California, which just means Mount Rushmore is pretty far from my is pretty far from my home, but that's okay. Because it's in South Dakota. That's because Mount Rushmore is in South Dakota. That's why. But I'll get into the beginning of the United States very soon, anyway. And now the languages. Well, so we can read the languages here. Yep, Chinese. Well, first of all, first of all, when people talk about the language, when people talk about Chinese, they're just talking about the language of Mandarin or Tongguo, right? Yeah, that's why. And I know they're also calling it Zhongguan. I'm trying to. Yeah, that's why. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Zhongguan is how to say Chinese. It's how to say Chinese language in Mandarin. I'm probably not saying it. I'm trying to say it the best I can, because I know, because my Mandarin is not that great right now, anyway. Yeah, and I know what English is. French. You got Francais, which is how to say the word French in French. Say the word French in French. You got Italian, and here's Italiano, which is the word Italiano, which is how to say the word, how to say Italian in Italian, and then in Spanish is Spanish is just español. But what about this word, Deutsch? Well, that's how to say the word German in German. Yes. I'm not trying to, yeah. because you gotta think about that, Yeah. And I've been talking about and I've been meeting people that want to learn German anyway. Just let you know anyway. And I'll get to this part soon. Alright, so let's go, let's go do this. So, what happened at the Tower of Babel? And okay, so let's read about this part, okay? So what happened at the Tower of Babel, okay? Then I'll get into Yertle the Turtle, and also China and the United States. Okay, let's get into the Tower of Babel first, okay? And I'll get into the name regulation. Yes, So what happened at the Tower of Babel? Biblical history takes us to several world-changing and non-repeatable episodes, including creation, the course of the global flood of Noah's day, by basing historical thinking of true events. We have a much better chance of properly reconstructing the past if we adopt the untrue view of evolution and uniformity. When it comes to human history of nation origins, the similarly includes the event that happened in the past, which must be the thinking that we are getting right. This breakup of languages and the dispersion of families into all parts of the world. When Noah left his family, left the ark, God instructed them to be faithful, multiply, and replenish the earth in Genesis chapter 9, verse 1. Fortunately, soon they gathered at Babel under the leadership of a rebellious Nimrod, and they built a tower, lest they be scattered upon the face of the earth in Genesis chapter 11, verse 4. The tower, which became historical worship at the center of the creation, and then the Creator. okay, rather than the Creator. But God wanted them dispersed throughout the earth, and He separated their languages into many. For as long as they all spoke the same language, no endeavor was beyond their reach. In Genesis chapter 11, verse 6. In Genesis chapter 10, has come known as the Table of Nations. Endowed with 70 nations, language groups, migrating to fill the earth, and lack of ability to communicate with others, archaeology has confirmed the basic details. Okay, identifying the locations of people groups, although this some have been obscure at the time. Similarly, linguists have discovered the number of the separated languages of groups and the same order of magnitude of the 70 listed in the Bible. Again, some of the combined others faded into extinction, but the story has a flag of truth about it. Since then, human history has been marked on the conquest of inhabited lands by the wars between tribes who spoke different tongues. Some of the language groups, including individuals, have special skills and meaning. Modernity, music, archaeology, and animal husbandry, and thus the goods are quickly prominence over the rest. Others lived in caves, and the migrants of technology, but each group of the memories of their common history. Creation, fall, and flood, and Babel, which eventually into vague legends. They also carried Nimrod's great error in of astrology and the misuse of the signs of the zodiac. Explain why all cultures have essentially the same baseless system. With one language, all general traits were originally shared among humankind, but once they broke up into occur, ethnic trails began to express, leading today's races. Natural selection would match traits to the environment. The Ice Age occurring during the centuries following Babel, the slow into the harsh climates in Europe, watered Egypt, and sea level, and the global migration across the land bridges such as between Siberia and Alaska. Without Babel and this version of our thinking, we will be hard pressed in the current view of human history, whether the facts have into the place of appreciation, scripture increases. Right now, that is Perzel at Babel. So now you can get into the confusion here. According to Genesis, Noah is finding doesn't build the ark to suffice to God in thankfulness and great deliverance. God responds by giving them the rainbow to sign His promise that He will never judge the earth in the similar flood. The promise that the command will fill the earth and city worldwide in migration over. God's holy nature was not altered. His demands judgment of sin and was long before mankind for rebellion of Him. Under the leadership of Nimrod, they built an astronomical observation tower at Babel, for which to worship the creation rather than the Creator. At the time, all people spoke the same language and working together were minded members, and built the tower in open disobedience and God's migration, comparing and boldly defying Him with the assertion that He is scattered abroad and up upon the face of the earth in Genesis 11, verse 4. Most of the family groups have probably remained together. Rapidly multiplying, but God would not leave this prolonged rebellion unpunished, and He confused their language and halted comparative rebellion project and forced migration. In the assault, people find it impossible to communicate with one another. Individual language groups banded together and move elsewhere. The strongest prominent groups, including the forerunners of the Sumerians, the Babylons, the Achaeans, and Assyrians, probably where they were, forcing the others to leave, and they retained technology that they had previously acquired and found in advanced city-states, while the powerful groups, the fertile territory, nearby areas to assemble natural resources, such as Nile River Basin. The many of the migrated where they could, with stronger ones continually, displacing the weaker. Some moved south to the African continent, and others moved east to Asia. The Ice Age was spreading across Europe, and the groups were forced across to adjust their lifestyles. In Genesis chapter 10, the migration routes, mentioning the nations nations and territory. In general, the Semites, the descendants of Shem, retained the control of the region of Mesopotamia, where the Japhetites go toward northeast and to the northwest into Europe and Russia, and Hamites moved south into Africa and east into Asia. There was mixing and extinction of family groups, and they had a little choice they had to move. The typical nations in Genesis chapter 10 and documents the story of migrations are sold as the magnificency of extra historical document of many of the nations recognizable throughout the time until today. All it took was the knowledge of the God and the flood and the proper worship, as well as the false worship practiced at Babel. Many new civilizations constructed symbol towers or pyramids began worshiping the stars and see imaginary star pictures in the zodiac, where scripts were eventually developed in numerous areas, completely different systems and symbols. Those groups whose population contained individuals' special skills, quickly technological civilizations and construction products, medical culture, etc. And while those without such abilities focus simply on surviving, tribes living in the harsh environment of Ice Age Europe often live in caves for safety and warmth, and while losing pieces of once a common knowledge of down to the hunter-gatherer mode of existence. Simultaneously, numbers, billions of civilizations according to engineering, and the rest of today would be difficult to duplicate. And these early people would have ignored some humans as depicted as evolved from the animals. Man was smart at the start because he had been created that way. Now here's I was looking at an article about Ur the turtle. Ural in Babylon. This is the post-educational series of Finding Gold in Children's Literature. I look at the children's books a lot, and the Bible, all corrections of beginning books, children's faith, unless otherwise noted. I'm going to look at the links post, but please do not reblog them or these ideas, though they were own. Thank you. Ur the Turtle by Dr. Seuss, sort of a proud, power-hungry reptile, which is a turtle anyway. He starts as the king of the pond of turtles. Satisfying with that, he commands his projects to stand on others' shells in a stack. While he climbs up to the top and stacks up turtles, he's growing in spite of the turtles at the bottom. Named Mac, Ural believes that he is king of all he can see, so the higher the throne the turtle gets, the more powerful he becomes. Eventually oversteps the stack of the turtle collapses. At last, Ural is only the king of the mud. That happened after Mac burped. When Mac burped, all the turtles fell, and Ural became the king of the mud, and all the other turtles were free. Theodore Gessel, who is better known as Dr. Seuss, as a political cartoonist before he began the documentary. He either said he meant the Year of the Turtle as its condemnation of Hitler. Yeah, Adolf Hitler. Yeah. But there is much more ancient culture than Nazi Germany, and that had the striking similarities of Yordle's kingdom, Babylon. Yeah. Well, it's not only Adolf Hitler. You know, there's also Chairman Mao Zedong. You know, that guy. Yeah. And plus, Chairman Mao Zedong, he killed way more people. He murdered way more people than Adolf Hitler. So, and yeah, I know. Chairman Mao Zedong is the guy who was responsible for making China a communist. I know. And that's not great. That's not good at all. But, you know, so yeah, I know. Adolf Hitler, and, you know, and I was bringing up Chairman Mao Zedong because but the problem is that you don't see people worshiping Adolf Hitler. But you will see, but there are people you will see people, but worshiping Chairman Mao Zedong, and that's not good at all, because he was a murderer, and he killed way more people and he murdered way more people than Adolf Hitler. So, anyway, let's keep reading this. Okay, so, building the tower to heaven. The story of the Tower of Babel was famous in the Old Testament, despite the fact that it only has 9 verses long. Genesis chapter 11, verses 1 through 9. The people of Babylon said, "Let us make up the city of the tower, the top of where we reach to heaven, and let's make our name famous before we scatter to the lands." Verse 4. Yordle, the king of Somasond, Middle Eastern sounding name, says, "If I sit high, much greater I be. What a king! I beware of all that I see." He is temporarily satisfied that he can see 40 miles from his new throne. The moon rises above him, signaling that not everything that is under Yordle's control. What's that, snorted Yordle? Say, what is that thing that dares be higher than Yordle the king? I shall not allow it. I'll go higher still, and I build my throne higher, and I will. All calls aboard turtles, all accepted into heaven. I need about 5,607. If Yordle's plans for his tower go as high as heaven, he plans to rule over all creation, if not God himself. Yeah, unfortunately that did not happen because, Mac burped and all the turtles fell. And then, Yordle totally became king of the mud, I know, so that's why. So, echoes of Adam's fall. The Tower of Babel was the same way as in Adam and Eve over again. All languages on earth came of the confusion of tongues, Shinar and Babylon, just all the people deceived from Adam. Like Adam, people of Shinar signed up to be like gods, and then trying to make a way to heaven on their own. Pride motivated them. Pride also ruled Yordle. Yes, I ruled purposely, but the irony is that he controls everything in creation. He cannot even control his own passions, his anger, and the false greatness, and cause them to ignore Mac's pleadings for mercy. How dare someone else, and the turtle at the very bottom, who is therefore significant at all, question Yordle's decisions. But it is Mac who ultimately brings the tower down, and by a lowly burp that shakes and the whole structure so it collapses. Many Old Testament stories and significant, and the humble conquers the proud. Jesus rejects the earthly kingdom. The New Testament, the devil tempts Jesus in a similar way which the people of Babylon were tempted. again the devil took him up into the very high mountain and showed him in the kingdoms of the world and the glory of them, and said to him, all these I give to thee, I give thee, if falling down thou wilt adore me. In Matthew chapter 4, verses 8 through 9, like the people of Shinar and Yerdal, Jesus looks out over the world and he chooses to rule over it in his own terms, and humbly accept the Godfather's plan for him. He chooses the latter, so of course should we. Yerdal the turtle provides great opportunity to discuss connection between Adam, Babel, and Jesus. Also, the projects new humanity, entertaining matter of even young children can understand. This remains true, even if Dr. Seuss did not have the Tower of Babel in mind when he wrote it. Alright, now we can get into the beginning of China. Okay, how can the Chinese dynasties extend back many thousands of years? Okay, for the invisible things of him, from the creation of the world clearly seen, against by the things of the power of Godhead, so they are without excuse. In Romans chapter 1, verse 20. Okay, so the lecture of the Bible, the biblical is scientific. The evidence recent creation of history, all against Hong Kong, China. When a scholar raised an objection, the Chinese have a documented history going back many thousands of years, much earlier than the dates. Than your dates of creation of the flood. We all know the dynasties are and named rulers. The Bible must be wrong. The solution explanation of the earliest Chinese dynasties, actually precisely documented dynasties, go back only about 2000 BC. The first true dynasty was about 4,000 years ago by a leader. Remember a screening screening the waters and the uninhabitable widespread flooding. The 10 list of dynasties before that, however, there were different sort. And the very long lie, it's a question of details, and due to them, the biblical viewpoint of the humanity, the Chinese descended from Adam, then Noah, then the Tower of Babel incident. The main thing of the Table of Nations in Genesis chapter 10, which the chronicles the language groups and the destinations, but it's by the 9 people in verse 17, which probably become the Asian groups. The Asian people decided from language groups migrated away from the Tower of Babel, and God confounded their languages, all the likelihood. We'll talk about dynasties date the event, while part of favorite memories of pre-flood patriarchs preserved as legends. Okay, doesn't this back to Genesis? The history is true about biblical curiosities at the Babel instead at 4,200 or so years ago, and many of the groups back in technology knowledge, which they put as their new homelands. Okay, and the documents of several of the cultures spoken into. Okay, extend seemingly from nowhere. And about the same time, the Egyptians, the Sumerians, the Phocenians, the Indians, as well as the Chinese, and each possesses curious mixture of the truth and pagan thought as would be expected from the peoples only briefly separated from Noah and his teachings, as well as the star worshipping pyramid, bullying heresy of Nimrod at Babel. In Genesis, each group mentioned above 10 patriarchs in history, which does Genesis, and eventual leaders, which guide the growing language groups of new land, bringing both technology and history of them. And the personal knowledge of the flood and pre-flood says, having learned from Noah, the sons in an instance, the Asian leader eventually gained prominence and entering the draining of swiftly the land left of the city of leftover flood waters and commission of Abraham about 2000 BC. The memories of patriarchs of pre-flood became early dynasties. Okay, details in history propose that origins are tentative, but the fact is the biblical history is correct. All peoples descend from Adam and Noah and the Tower of Babel incident. We should be surprised that the cultural history moments of the back of Genesis truth. Yeah, that's you can get into. So yours, yeah, I'll get to this. Now we can get to this part, the beginning of the United States. Just here, the discovery of America. Okay. These are the three sons of Noah, who are the order separated in Genesis chapter 9, verse 19. This date that when Christopher Columbus had discovered America, this is the one of great hardship, and the Christian faith and courage crowd many worldwide acclaim. This is now generally recognized, even first when they discovered America. Named Angleton and Norsemen not only before explained the existence long before Columbus came, but Lopa is now even the first. The evidence of ancient positions reached America well before the time of Christ. The evidence of Egyptians and Chinese may also come before Leif Erikson, but this is a very uncertain, of course. Even so, however, they are still not the first. Various tribes and immigrants, known as the American Indians, and they were discoverers of America long before anyone, not too long after the dispersion of the Tower of Babel, because the liquor rebellion that cleansed against God investigated by the Tower of Babel, Lord suddenly corrupted the original language, the very vast Babel of different languages, and eventually into one family, and thus, and the Lord corrupted all the face of the earth. Chapter 1, verse 9. All the earth says that would seem to include America. Some probably by the land of New Asia, because of Bering Strait and the British during the Ice Age. Somebody come to see from Europe or Asia or Africa. Okay, from Europe or Asia or Africa. They came and made into tribes and languages, dispersed their nations throughout the American continents, and they were ready of the leaf. Okay, and Christopher Columbus, when these latecomers finally arrived. Okay, now the name of recognition. Let's get to this part. Languages. Okay, let's go build us here tower of the top region of Atlantis. Okay, and let's bring us my Genesis chapter 11 verse 4. The Bible will alter in 2 Timothy verse 16 of this one book. Therefore, read of the book from the beginning to the end and understand the full meaning. The chapter I was in chapter 11 verses 1 through 9 illustrates how the truth began gleaned by reading the Bible and is unified whole. Why did God include Genesis 11 verse 9 as a part of the scripture? First, that's mentioned itself and the seed purpose of the tower. That's because my name today's text. Second, to consider in chapters. Chapter 10 was genealogy of Shem, whose name means name, and the rest of chapter 11 after verses 1 to 9. Jesus' genealogy, you get down to Abraham to God promised, I will make the name of Abraham, Hebrew Shem great. And 12. Okay, in Genesis 12 verse 2, clearly these chapters have these names sacrifice. So these names of significance. Third, to consider wider as scripture, the author of Genesis gives us the names of the rebels at Babel. Yet the names of Abraham's physical and spiritual descendants, the 12 tribes of Israel, and the apostles respectively. The respective eternity in Mary chapter 21 verses 12 verse 12 and verse 14. The contents of scripture in chapters 11 verses 1 through 9 shows they are foolishness by trying the name of ourselves. This is the matter of God, and this is the matter of God, yes, but the matters who seek our name, addition, and approval. The only words will speak the end. Whosoever confess me before men, and he shall the Son of Man that confess before the angels of God. Luke chapter 12 verse 8. And for those who confess, great destiny awaits, and his name shall be in their foreheads. Revelation 22 verse 4. Okay, so that's... Yeah, I know, and I've been discussing me about languages for a long time now. Well, here it is. Yeah. Well, I'm just talk about languages here, and that's it. You know. You know. That's it. You know. And plus, it's good to learn languages. You know. You probably already know what languages I'm learning already. If not, I can tell you. If not, I'll tell you then. Well, so let's get it straight here. Well, I already know English, so let's get to this. I'm not really learning French right now because, you know, I'm not really interested in that language right now. Italian? Well, not many people I know of speak Italian right now. Even though I'm half Italian, I don't know very much Italian anyway, so. Okay, now Spanish. Well, I am learning Spanish. Okay, and just can't find people to communicate in Spanish right now. You know. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna have to visit Spanish-speaking communities and stuff. You know. To find out to practice my Spanish, you know, soon, you know. Now, yeah, I also have to find out. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go to. I'm going to visit Chinatown to practice my Mandarin, also known as or. And if you want to call it Chinese, you know what? That's fine. But I'm just gonna refer to it as Mandarin. Now, this language here, which is, you know, German, well, there are people I did met that were, but there's people I know that are learning German anyway. But, you know. You know, yeah, that. Anyway, so we got to get saved according to the Bible. Okay, supportive evolution's a damn souls to hell. The only way to go to heaven is to believe our Lord Jesus Christ. Salvation is by faith alone and grace alone, Jesus Christ alone. And once you're saved, by easy believing in the truth, meaning that you can't lose your salvation. Once you're saved, by easy believing that salvation is easy to do is believe in Jesus Christ for salvation. Yeah. That's it. So that's my view of the Tower of Babel. Okay, I hope you like it. I'm trying to. My next video will be about what is called. What does the Bible say about the post-flood world? Well, I'll go to the next video. Yeah, because I go right now. But thank you for watching this video. Okay? And I hope you can learn languages as well. And oh yeah, sorry. I hope you can learn languages as well. I know there's probably a lot of, I believe, in Christians that learn Spanish. Yeah. And probably these other languages. They're mentioned over here too, like like Italian, French, and also German. But yeah, there's a few Christians I know of that are learning Mandarin. You know. Not just me, But, Mandarin could be a big opportunity for you to learn as well because, here in the United States, Mandarin is the third most spoken language, And there's Chinatowns you can visit, that's why. Just giving a heads up anyway. Because if more Chinese people are coming over to the U.S., then we have to do is preach the gospel to them, and we may have to do it in their own language, I know the ones that do speak English. Of course, we can speak English to them, but the ones that don't know English and are only fluent in Mandarin, and then we have to learn. And then that's when you have to learn Mandarin ourselves to preach the gospel to them. Yeah, I know. I don't. Yeah, no, and I know, and I need to say, I know, I hate and loathe, China's autocratic regime, but there's nothing I can do about it, and I do want to get rid of it, but it's something I can't handle it right now. But we can do is preach the gospel, and the gospel is what saves people, the gospel is what matters, because we're free, because I know we're free in the U.S. We can criticize, we're free to criticize any government, not just our government, just the United States government, Yes. You can freely criticize the Chinese government here in the United States of America, which is great. Anyway, talk about next video it's called What Does the Bible Say About the Pre-Flood World? Well, so we're just about the post-flood world. Well, I'll talk about that next video. Okay, I'll talk about that next video, okay? So you can learn about that too. Because we're going to go right now, but hopefully we can get more people you get to be given on the gospel of Jesus Christ, you know. Because, you know, it's the gospel of Jesus Christ that was matters, anyway. Yeah, so I'll talk about the post-flood world next video, anyway. Because I have to go right now. But thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoy it. And I'll see you later. Goodbye. Adios. Zaijian. Oh, yeah. Yeah, sorry. I know. And I know that... Yeah, I know. And people have been asking about Taiwan, first of all. And I know that, well, because they know Taiwan is a democratic country. Yeah, hopefully you can preach the gospel in Taiwan pretty soon as well. Because, you know, it's a free democratic country. That's why. Anyway. Just let you know, anyway. Now, I have to go right now. But thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this. And goodbye. Adios. Zaijian.